Welcome, Peggy Lamb, to our community conversations. My name is Silva Laukkanen, and I am the director of integrated dance at ArtSpark Texas. And we work in the intersection of arts education and disability. And I run the dance program, which is really amazing program, has been around for over a decade, has amazing people involved in it, and one of them is Peggy. I'm going to do a short description of myself. I am about 42 years old. I am originally from Finland. I'm wearing a hat with little nubs on it. It is handmade by a disabled artist. And I'm sitting in a quiet kind of a empty room with some light coming from behind me in a window. So Peggy, welcome. And I use she, her, hers pronouns. So Peggy, welcome.
Thank you, Silva. It's so nice to be here. My background is Hi,
welcome.
Extensive dance and movement-based background. And I've been dancing for I always say I've been dancing since I came out of the womb. You know, I think a lot of us are like that. It's
right.
Just this kind of embryonic development, and we dance in the womb and then we dance on land. And actually my favorite place to dance is in the water. So I'm 69 years old now and still dancing, not as athletically as I used to. And I'm in my office at home. I have blue eyes and reddish brown hair. And I dance with Silva lots and lots and lots with Body Shift. And Silva used to do improvisational performances, and we'd get together and do several rehearsals. And Silva is just so good at that. And she would pick a space and we'd perform it outside. And it was a blast. It was a blast. I had so much fun and grew so much as an artist with Silva's choreography. She really has a gift for that. So
thank you.
You're welcome.
I like that. I like that. I was started thinking, like, what is my favorite place to dance in? And I feel like there's so little dancing happening right now in my life, which is such a sad thing to even say. But I always like to think that I like to move in nature and with nature. So like your water makes me think of that. Sarah, do you have a favorite place to move in or dance in?
Actually, I as well would love to dance in nature, but I was just having that conversation with a friend that sometimes I'm just so aware of my environment in a way that it hinders me from dancing in nature if there are around me. So that's why I did last week, and I was like, hey, do you want to dance in a park? And she's like, I just need someone to encourage me. My kind of little mini dream is to just start a casual park dance, like just dancing.
I love it.
Style dance in a park and just freestyle it. Do whatever you want to do. So it's just that getting over just dancing on my own. But today I put in a scarf in my car. Maybe dancing with a scarf would give it more meaning when I'm dancing on my own, rather than just moving around and being too aware of my environment.
Oh, I think it's always helpful to have a prop, right?
I think so too. Yeah, and this ties very well into what you both are saying about being aware of who is around us when we move. Is that I have this podcast that Peggy has been also a guest on, called Dancecast, and I always ask, like, when did you start dancing? And once when I was interviewing Adam Benjamin, he was like, I think the actual question is, when do we stop dancing? Because like you were saying, we move and we dance, and only once we start to be like aware of the surrounding is that like diminished, and like we start to like not do it so much. But when you think about a baby who like hears music, how they even start like swaying and doing everything, it's amazing.
It's so cute. It's so cute. Well, Silva, you have 3 children. Who's the dancer in them?
It's Selma. It's my youngest one.
Your youngest,
for sure.
right?
Yeah.
I had a feeling it was her. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So Peggy is also amazing dancer and teacher, and really fun human being, and a wealth of knowledge around body and what bodies can do, and how to move body and how to fix bodies. And so I wanted to ask a little bit about, how did you end up in this dance world as a, daughter of a constable, police officer from Brooklyn? Like, how were you?
I was telling Silva, my father was a New York City police captain. I'm a stereotype. Actually, my legal name is Margaret Mary Teresa Lamb, so you can guess. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I told you I'm a stereotype, right? And I can talk like this if you want me to also. I don't know, but I have to say that I have to thank my mother for that in many ways. She nurtured the dancer in me.
Oh.
She didn't quite understand it when I kind of went off into modern weird dance at all. She once asked me, why don't you make dances about mothers and babies? But I think she always nurtured that creativity spark, because I don't think it was nurtured in her. And so thanks, Ma, wherever you are.
Right.
So
and then you actually kept on going and studied dance and had an MA in dance.
I have an MA from American University. Yeah. I danced in many places around the country.
Yeah. And you started then at some point during the writing, being interested in combining the writing and the moving.
So
talk about a little bit of that.
Okay, it really actually happened because I saw this opportunity, this creative writing course, and I went, And I found, because of the way the teacher, she was a Jungian therapist, and the way she taught it was very wonderful. And I went, this is just like improv, dance improv, you just write, okay, whatever comes out. So that, and it's true. You just write whatever comes out, first mind. We dance, when we improv, we just start moving and we see whatever comes out. What does the body want to say? What does the body want to say in words? And what does the body want to say in movement and gesture? So I became really interested in that intersection and started choreographing pieces that had some text in them, because I thought that was an interesting way to do it. Then I really went totally into the text side and did a couple of pieces that were more text than anything else. And now I'm back, in a nice blend. So I think it's fun to combine art forms, it just feeds our creativity in a different way. It's all the same source.
So talk us through a couple of things that you would do in this.
Okay, well, I have a list here. We can do a couple of the okay?
Okay. All
right. So number 1, Silva, you've taught this and you've done it. We're going to say our name and do a gesture, and then we'll all repeat it. So I'll start, then it'll be Silva, then Sarah. Okay. Whatever your body does. Okay. So Peggy. Peggy. Let's do it again.
Peggy.
That's it. Okay. Silva.
Silva.
Oh, it feels good.
Silva. Ow.
Let's do it one more time.
Silva.
Oh, that felt good. I needed that. Sarah. Oh, I like it. Sarah. Let's do that again. God, I need to move. All right, I'll start again. Peggy. Silva.
Silva.
Let's do it again. We should do it twice each. So I forgot that.
Silva.
Okay. Sarah.
Oh.
Oh. Sarah. Sarah. And I loved how all of you played with the vocal quality. So not only did we get a chance to move spontaneously, we changed vocal quality. So all of that is actually great for the nervous system. All right. So that is, and sometimes what I'll do with that is we'll take everybody's gesture and we'll create a circle dance, and I'll find some music. And so we'll all do it. And it's fun to play with different kinds of music. So you can make a real upbeat version to like African drumming. And then you can take that same dance and do it to some really hand pan music, so it becomes more of a meditative quality. And so you can create 4 or 5 different versions of the same circle dance. So this is kind of stuff I'll be doing in class.
So does it calm the nervous system?
Yes. Oh,
okay, because that's how I feel.
Have you ever done Tai Chi? Yeah,
Mm.
it's just like that. So Silva knows that I teach classes in women's prisons. And so we created, I was just up there last week and we created a dance like that. I had read a poem, we read a poem, and I asked them to take one of the words in that poem that really resonated with them and to embody it with a gesture. And then we did it to some really calming Japanese flute music. And the feedback was like, that was just like Tai Chi. I feel so calm now. Yeah, it's yeah.
Will you be inserting your like body knowledge into the class as well? Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everything, because I can talk about that forever, but I want to make sure that I don't go off on a tear. But yes, I will. This is about accessing your right brain and the left brain, because words are linguistic, our left brain, but it's like how we can marry them both together at times. Because, you know, we have words for something, but then we have movement for that same thing, and they're the same, they're just a different language.
Right.
So if you can embody your life experience, your story or whatever in different ways, words and movement, you've just really, I don't know, what's the word for that? You just really enlarge that experience, huh?
It feels also grounding.
Grounding, yeah. And you've enlarged that experience. Anyway, so yeah.
Sarah, do you have anything you want to share, or questions or comments of this?
No, I guess I'll see how it's gonna go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have one more thing that we can do, and we can just do a short version of this. Okay. So there's an icebreaker that I use a lot that I like, and it's called I Could Tell You a Story, but you actually don't tell the story. So I want to give you an example. You just say the sentence. So I could tell you a story about being the daughter of a New York City police captain, or I could tell you a story about dancing in water, or I could tell you a story about growing up on Long Island. So you see, you don't tell the story, you tell just a short sentence about it, okay? And what I'd like to do right now is go around and we'll each say one line, just like I did. And it doesn't even have to be true. You could say, I could tell you a story about growing up on Neptune. Okay, are you game?
Yep.
All right, so I'll start. And this time will be me and Sarah, then Silva. Okay. I'll start. I could tell you a story about learning a really complicated thing today.
I can tell you a story about when I went scuba diving.
I could tell you a story how I dropped the bratwurst.
I could tell you a story about an encounter with a parrotfish.
Hmm. I can tell you a story about how I got lost on the road.
I could tell you a story how I learned the sign language for a picture.
Oh man, I could tell you a story about flying off on the back of an angel.
Ooh. I can tell you a story about how when I spent the night in the car.
Oof.
I could tell you a story how I got stung by 15 bees.
Ooh, oh, okay. Good job. So that's an easy way for people to get to know one another without it being like vomiting out, your past. Okay. And so I usually do it as a group, and then I pair people up, which is why I'd asked you about breakout rooms. Okay.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
And people do it kind of back and forth, and then you actually get to tell your partner one of the stories. Like, boy, Sarah, I want to hear about the night you spent in your car, that kind of thing, So then I build out that exercise even more and say, okay, I want you to create 2 gestures from that story. And then guess what I do after that? We create a dance.
Nice. Okay.
So that is a couple of examples of how I will be teaching the class, back and forth between the writing. So sometimes I can tell you the story is verbal, then I'll tell everybody, okay, I want you to go write the story. Okay. So anyway, it just depends on what I have planned for the day. And then I have a lot more. I just have to sit down and plan the class, but it's going to be, this is an example of how I teach.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it seems very easy and like intuitive, and I wanted to go on with telling those stories without telling the stories forever. Sorry, Sarah. I think I just
everybody does, because that people are going on when they insert the word and, A-N-D. I can tell you a story, blah, 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 and da, 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 da. So yeah. But there's all sorts of ways to play with an exercise like this, There's just use your imagination, come up with your own variations. Silva has some of the best exercises or activities. I just love, Silva would come up with me to a women's prison and teach exploring creativity classes. And I loved her classes. I loved them. We got to get you to teach this here sometime.
Yeah. Sarah, I feel like I actually spoke on top of you. You were saying something after we did the exercise with Peggy, and I apologize for it.
Oh, you're fine. I think it was just a little light bulb that I had, because every time somebody would say, "Oh, I don't know how to dance," and really dancing is like what you all mentioned is just free movement. There's no right or wrong way to dance.
Yeah.
I noticed that I tell myself the same about writing. I would love to write so many. I'm like, I'm not a good writer. I don't know how to express myself so well, because I'm comparing myself with the books that I read and other people who write better. So I like how you combine both, because it's like the same thing. It's just creativity that there's no, or yeah.
The same pool of creativity that springs forth in many different ways. It's our souls yearn to express themselves.
That's true.
And I feel like we actually, well, maybe this is more speaking about myself, but and having 3 kids, there's so little time that you actually end up taking for yourself, that this kind of a dedicated time in class feels like a gift to me really now if I
Sure.
would be able to take it, you know.
Sure. You have a job and 3 kids. You're, yeah, I really do. Yeah.
You use the term, what is it? What is the, there's creativity in it. Peggy, what is it? You say it often. Exploring creativity?
Exploring creativity, yeah.
Yes, because that is like what we don't get to do a lot.
Unless we create the time for it. Yeah. And I'm as guilty of that as anybody.
So where is that class going to take place?
It's in Austin.
Yeah, it's actually happening in Austin in a Conley Guerrero Senior Center that they have just uplifted the senior center and opening up over the weekends, and so we're gonna be there.
Nice. Okay.
And out,
Yeah.
but it happens every Saturday for the next 8 weeks from 10 to 11 at the Conley Guerrero Senior Center. And the 8th Sunday, there's going to be a bit of a sharing of the work that the class have been doing. So if you want to make a trip to Austin and come and see the sharing on the last, it's going to be in November 5th.
November 5th. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely love that. I'd love to explore that.
Yeah.
So,
And go ahead. Sorry, Sarah.
oh no, you're fine. Are you considered a dance therapist, or tell me more about what you do?
I do not have dance therapy training. Although this kind of intersects with therapy, but it's not therapy.
Yeah.
It's not therapy. That would be like if I was working with you and we got into your stuff. We don't go there. I don't go there. If stuff comes up, which it does sometimes, we are just respectful witnesses and hold space for it. That I know how to do.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not a dance therapist. I have a very traditional dance background.
She's got a very traditional and untraditional. This is a woman who has studied all over the world, taught in South Africa. You've taught all over the world. And for different kinds of populations. She's amazing background.
Yeah, so I have a degree in community dance from UK in London. And my career has been a lot around bringing dance as an art form for people who don't have an easy access to it, or who would not easily identify as dancers or dance consumers or creatives. But I was very strict for the first decade of my life that I am not here to fix or change or heal anyone. But I do recognize, and I have become more and more interested in the aspect of these really like big things and emotions and therapeutic conversations and sort of happenings happen during these classes, even though it's never ever my intention. And actually I am very clear in trying to keep the can lid very tightly closed, because I don't have the expertise to know what to do if I open it. So I that is very, very much my focus.
That's amazing. So I'm trying to remember the name. You all might know. It's called Dance Something, and it's based in New York, and they have refugees dance their story.
Oh, wow, that's great. I don't know it, but
I'll try to pull it out. It's called Dance Something, and I'll try to bring it out while we're on.
Amazing people who do amazing things. They're really drawn to a particular population. They have a skill set and say, let's do this. Let's do this. So that's mine happens to be prison, women in prison. But the amazing amount of artistry where people give of themselves, like Silva, to people who are struggling. And it is about creating community. It's about creating support. And
Yeah.
it's not a look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me kind of thing. It's, yeah.
Yeah, and you were just telling about also, Peggy, some what was that you were last time when we were chatting?
Yeah, it's Dances for Solidarity. It's a New York-based nonprofit that reaches out to people in solitary confinement.
Hey you all, just a heads up. My dog will bark soon and it's very loud, it's very unexpected. So please be aware of that.
And they create a 10 sequence dance that they send them. So the person in solitary can start to do that because solitary is just horrible.
Yeah. And it's a similar way of how occupational therapy started, right? And in hospitals and
Exactly.
So I pulled it out now. It's called battery dance.
Battery dance. I'm gonna have to look that up. Battery dance.
I think the main idea that they are actually dancers, but the idea behind it is they dance their stories. And they had refugees as well. So
yeah. Usually it's a dancer that starts that, who's had training and I don't know. What happened for me is that at a certain point in my dancer life, I just wanted to create community.
Yes.
And choreographing and performing started to feel really empty. It's like, so yeah.
Or structured dance, and while you wanted something more freestyle.
It's not, it's yes, but the community part of it was the most important thing. It was connecting. Using movement as a way to connect.
Yes.
And have a community based around that, as opposed to people sitting in an audience looking at me.
Yeah.
Remember this story of Laurence Olivier and Dustin Hoffman. Dustin Hoffman relates the story of he was talking to Laurence Olivier and he was saying, why do you think people do this? I mean, it's so hard and you're always auditioning and Laurence Olivier said 3 words. He said, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Anyway, not quite true, but I've always remembered that. And that's how it started to feel. And I don't know. It's been a joy to have this little trio of connection,
Yeah, definitely.
Shared love of movement.
Yeah, it was great. And everybody sign up for Peggy's class starting this Saturday, September 17th.
17th. So no movement or writing experience necessary. As you can see, we're going to just access what's already there and you'll be amazed at what you can do.
Yeah. So everybody have a great evening. Sarah, what a joy to meet you in the virtual world. And if you ever come to Austin, please send me an email and we'll go and dance in the park.
Yes.
I'm going to put my email right there.
Okay.
We will gather people and we will go and dance with you in a park happily.
Yes, I'll make a special trip for that.
Awesome.
Yeah, right.
Thank you to our Arts Park Texas funders: Texas Commission on the Arts, St. David's Foundation, Cultural Arts City of Austin Economic Development, National Endowment for the Arts, Creative Forces, Austin Public Library, Donald D. Hamill Foundation.